everybody, this is Pancakes Origami, and in this video, my very first video as I may add, I will be teaching you how to make this traditional origami tsudu or crane. This is a very typical origami. Most people know this as the only origami most people would normally know of, and despite how difficult it may look, it is actually fairly easy to make. There are some folds that beginners may have to practice a little bit, maybe not. It pretty much depends on the person. Just give you a good look of how the finished product will look. So I'm going to get a piece of paper, and let's start. The first thing we're going to have is a sheet of regular printer paper. Sorry if I stutter. So we're going to have to make this into a square. If you have regular square, origami paper, square printer paper, any type of square paper that's foldable will work very well with this. So if you don't have a square piece already, what you can do is fold this corner all the way down until it completely aligns. Just want to make sure that it's extra neat. And make a crease. So at this very stage you should have something that looks like this. A right angle triangle with some excess paper here. Now if you want, you can use a pair of scissors to cut this off. It doesn't really matter, but if you were to use scissors to cut this off, technically it would be kirigami, since that is the art of cutting paper. If you want to be a hardcore and make it all origami, here's what you can do to make it into a square with a line that we'll be using first thing when we have a square sheet. Turn it over so that you can't see any of the lines except for the light through the paper. Now take this excess here and fold it down until it meets along the line as you pull it down. You should be able to start to see it. Just crease along that line. So you should have something like this. Now since we're going to be tearing this off, you're going to want to take your fingernails and rub and scratch it along that crease. Do it a few times if you want. Fold it over itself. Do the same. Now you want to have it so it's easier that the side that you can't see this flap is folding up so that the crease is going upwards in a kind of mountain formation on the side that has no lines on it. And you just want to slowly tear along the paper. So you should have a triangle. Now you want to unopen the triangle, or open the triangle. So you should have a crease going down the center of, if you hold it like a diamond, down the middle. Hold it like this, so that's a square with a line going to the diagonal to the left, up to the right. It doesn't matter. Fold it in half like this. Once you have that all lined up, you do on a flat surface if you take note. Just fold along that line. And your fingernail against it to make them extra neat. And if you open it, you should have a line going diagonal and across. No matter what way you hold it, it'll be diagonal and across. If you hold it like a diamond, straight down and diagonal. Hold it so that the line going down, you can fold it in half once you have it like this, once again. Open it up. Should have something like this. Now you want to hold it like a diamond, so it'll be easier if you have it just like this. Fold it in half, so that you will have a triangle once again. Fold along this line. fingernail again. Alright. So now, if you open it up again, you should have lines going from every angle. Take one of the diagonal creases, look at the diagonal, and fold it down on that crease. Now you should notice that you have a diamond with two sort of wings, as I like to call them, winged edges. Now, what we're going to do is kind of, if you're a beginner, you may want to, it's made to be difficult. For me, it was easy. Take this and push it down so that it sort of tucks inside. Then you can fold over it, and then you'll feel the crease down the middle. Just run your finger against that, flatten it all out. Do the same with the remaining flap. Finger down the middle. Now some people say that there shouldn't be a line down here, but it won't make a difference for the final product. But I like to find it as a guideline. So you want to take one of these flaps, so that there are two. Take one of these flaps, put it up against this midline, line it up, fold it down, and make sure it's all neat. You should have something that looks like this. Now take the flap on the other side and do the same. So you should have a kite on this side and a diamond on this side, with both having a line running down them. Now, once you have this, you want to turn it over and do the same with these remaining two sides. Fold onto the midline, on both sides. I'm sorry if I shake the camera. The way I have it posed is awkward, since this is my first video. So now unopen all four of these flaps, so that when you open it, you should have what kind of looks like a sort of spaceship. Now you want to lay it down. These can be open, these can be closed. I like to do it when these are open, so that you have two of these standing up. Take one of the flaps that are one of the flaps like this. Take one of them and make sure that the line going down the middle doesn't flatten up. You want to pop it up. Now you want to take this and pull it all the way up. Now what we're going to be doing here is called a petal fold, which may be probably the trickiest fold in making this crane. You're going to notice that you're going to have this line running down. I don't know if you can see it, but there are lines to help guide you. Now you want to take one of them and push them in until they meet along the lines up here, reaching to both the corners and intersecting on the middle. So you'll push it in like that. And do the same. It helps if you hold it up. Just do the same with this side. You should have something like this. Now push it down and make sure everything is nice and flat, so that you'll have half of the bird base completed. Turn it over and do the same with the other side as well. Pull it up and push both of these flaps inside until they meet along their own lines. Pull it down. Make sure everything is nice and flat. This is what we would call the bird base. To make it seem simpler that it's a bird base, when we lift this up, lift up both these flaps, you will notice that there is a triangle here, which is the back, or the hump on the back of the crane, which you can see here. Now that we have this, hold both of these up and just fold them down, sort of. once you have that, you'll notice you have some flaps here. These flaps. So, in order to do this and make sure that you're not all disorganized and that you understand everything, have the two open flaps that will become the head and the tail of the crane on the bottom so that you can open them like legs. So hold it on a flat surface so it will be easier. Take one of these four flaps and fold it onto the midline. So you should have something like this once you're done with the first one. Now once you have something like this, do the same for this, this, and this side, for the remaining three pretty much. Fold it onto the midline. So, both sides when you're done, with the remaining two that I'm going to show you how to do, you should have something like this. Do the same with these two sides. Now you'll notice sometimes you'll come across this where it's like a straight up. You can reach your finger in and just sort of round it off a bit. So that'll be easier to fold. Should have something like this. Now we have one left, and we're just going to do the same as we did for the three that we did before. So you should have, once you're done with all four, something like this, so that we still have pretty much the same shape except it's thinner on both sides, and you have these kind of triangles on all four of these flaps. Now we're going to turn it to the side, and we're going to open up these two flaps. And this is what's known as an inside reverse fold. So we're going to take it and fold it upwards so that the lines intersect, so that they're even. And now we're just going to close this. Now sometimes you'll notice it isn't going to close completely evenly. That doesn't really make too much of a difference. It's still pretty much going to look the same. So you should have something like that. Fold along the bottom here, and do the same with the remaining side. The wings may get in the way. I just like to keep them down, or up actually. And make it sure that when you're pulling it up from a side angle, that these two are level, because that will make sure that the head and the tail are both level. Now, as I have them here with the wings folded down, they're right up against the hunchback that I mentioned before. Crease it here, and you're almost done with making a crane. Now, the next part is completely up to you, the viewer. You can pull this down to a more suitable angle. I like to put it down to about here and crease. And make sure that both of them are level on their angle. Fold. Now, like I was saying before, one of the final parts in making your crane. You can choose either one of these two for this part. It doesn't really matter. But we're going to do an outward reverse fold, which means we're just going to hold it open and push down on the center line. So that we'll slowly have it like this. And now this here, we're going to take it and pinch it shut. Now you can pull this out, which will be your beak, and pinch it again at a suitable angle. That's up to you. And you are done with your origami Japanese crane. You don't do anything to the tail. Just leave it just like this. Now for an extra bonus, there are many things you can do at this point to your liking. You can pull on the wings and inflate the body to make it look somewhat more traditional. Nothing difficult about this, you just gotta pull it to a suitable angle to inflate the body, to make it seem more traditional. You can also bend down the wings a bit so that it will look something like this, with the wings kind of rounded down. I like to do that with my cranes. You don't have to. So you'll have something like this. Now if you notice, when you have it inflated, it'll be a bit more difficult to get it to stand. Now what I'm about to show you how to make it stand will work pretty much better with a non-inflated crane. Now once you inflate it, it can be somewhat difficult to deflate it. Back to where we started, just as I had it with the wings pointed down. Now you want to hold it like this, and you'll see these triangles that I showed you before when we were still making it. You can take one of these flaps, fold it up to, like I said again, a suitable angle, and do the same with the other one. Oh, tore it. Oh. Put it down without having the head come out, and you will have sort of stands. So it'll stand up. Now sometimes you can just leave it on the front, leave it on the back, do it on both. Right now, I just want to cut the video short, leave it like this. On this one I did it on all four, stands up just a bit better. A bit off-sided, but you get the point. This excess paper, we're not going to do anything with it. You can throw it away or better recycle it. And you have your, how you made it, Pancakes Origami's Japanese crane. Subscribe, comment, do anything. Have a fun time, and good luck folding.